My name is Bob Brown, and this is my 32nd year appearing before committees here as a lobbyist. And I started out working with AFT and then helped out the school service personnel for 7 or 8 years, and now I'm back working full-time with the AFT out of the Office of the President, and I'm working exclusively on this incredible initiative called Reconnecting McDowell. And once again, before I get into this, I want to tell you how much I appreciate the work of this committee. Notwithstanding Senator Edgell, the raging debate taking place in the education committees, it's my belief that the work of this committee has the potential to do more to improve our educational system in West Virginia than all the other bills that are floating around, because the children that we teach today come to school with issues that we couldn't even dream about 3 or 4 or 20 years ago. We're dealing with issues of acute poverty in pockets of West Virginia and hunger. It's surprising, and I know that you've heard reports already, but it was shocking to me when we started researching and discovered how many children come to school hungry each day. For many students, the only hot meal that they get are the meals that they get at school. They come to school with all sorts of social and emotional problems that are foreign to someone my age, or certainly when I was in school. So those are issues that we have to deal with if we're really going to educate our children and prepare them for the world of work or higher education. So we have to start to address those problems, and we think and we hope that the work we are doing in McDowell County, we hope that we can create a model that can be replicated not just in West Virginia, but perhaps all over the country. I will give you just a short overview of how we got involved with this and where it is. And I'm going to show a short video because it probably says more than I can say. I know it says more than I can say, but I don't have to tell you about the history of McDowell County. You know, over the years, we've extracted more than 1 billion tons of coal out of McDowell County. And along the way, the coal seams are now nearly depleted. There's some left, but certainly not like it was, and it's highly mechanized now. So along the way, after we took all of that coal out of those beautiful hills, the economy of McDowell County collapsed. And left behind were no highways and no sewer systems, no public water systems, and no decent housing and no recreation for the citizens of McDowell County. The economy fell so hard that since 1965, the population of McDowell County has declined from 125,000, a proud working class community, to today it's just a little over 22,000 people living in McDowell County. Many of them broken and hopeless. And with the collapse of the economy, the school system collapsed as well. And that's actually how we at AFT got involved, and it's a long story, but I will give you the 1-minute version. In September of 2011, the national president of AFT, Randy Weingarten, was touring the country, and she stopped in West Virginia, and we actually had dinner that night with then Governor Joe Manchin and his wife Gail, who serves on the State Board of Education. And while at dinner, Gail initiated a conversation about McDowell County, and she said, you know, the State Board of Education took over the school system in McDowell County 10 years ago, and other than straightening the finances up, we probably are not much better off now than we were 10 years ago. And we would like to partner with you, Randy, and with AFT to try to work together to deal with some of the challenges that we're facing in McDowell County. And I remember driving Randy back to her hotel that night. She said, where's McDowell County and what in the world is Gail talking about? But Gail, as I don't have to tell any of you this, being the tenacious spirit that she is, she began to call Randy regularly and say, I want to sit down and have a long discussion about how we can work together in McDowell County. And finally, in the spring of 2012, Randy called me and asked me to put together a white paper on McDowell County, and I did, and frankly, I was I was somewhat shocked when I really got into the statistics and the staggering challenges that we're facing in McDowell County. But ultimately, we held a meeting in Washington, D.C., Randy Gale, myself, and Judy Hale. And Randy committed to Gale to get involved in McDowell County if we could get other people involved, the business community, the faith-based community, the politicians in McDowell County. So in December of last year, actually the year before last now, we kicked off this initiative called Reconnect the McDowell. Governor Tomlin hosted a luncheon, and we fairly quickly recruited 40 partners to join with us to try to address some of the concerns and challenges in McDowell County. And he hosted a luncheon December a year ago, and we announced this initiative. And we have since then formed a 501c3 so that we can do business and try to procure grants for our work in McDowell County. We also, before we started, we formed or created a covenant, and you'll see it on the back of the packet. We created a covenant of commitment, and we ask our partners not to commit to 6 months in McDowell County, but to commit to 5 years in McDowell County. Now, it's not just McDowell County, but all over West Virginia. All of my life, people have come flooding into West Virginia and said, we're here to help, and they stay 6 months, and they get up against a tough challenge, and they leave, and consequently, many of the citizens of West Virginia in general, and McDowell County in particular, have a bad taste in their mouth about, quote, outsiders coming in to help. That's why we thought it was crucial that we have these partnerships and ask them to commit to 5 years, and also to engage the local community and the local political leaders in McDowell County. So that, in short, is how we got this initiative started. Now, it would take me about 3 hours to tell you a lot of this stuff, but I have like a 6-minute video I'd like to show, and I think it will give you a better idea of what we're doing and some of the challenges we're facing in McDowell County. And then I will close after the video.
McDowell County is a very large county. We're spread out. It's very mountainous. The hollows, the roads are very tough to go. Anywhere you get to anywhere, about 20 minutes. We used to have like 5 high schools. We're down to 2. So it's real tough to bring all those kids to 2 locations.
I would describe it as no different than any other school in the United States. These kids want to learn, and they're eager and willing to learn. It's just they have a lot more challenges maybe than other students in other parts of the country.
The mines have gone down. There's very few mines that are working now.
There's definitely a high amount of broken families due to absentee parents.
And you're trying to say education is important. If they don't get that support at home, you have mixed messages.
At one time, McDowell County had 100 and some thousand people here. We're down to 24,000 now in this county. Through the mining loss of jobs and nothing else there, people just had to leave.
When I first started teaching, you were bumping into people on payday weekend. It was hustling and bustling town. Now the opposite has happened. On downtown McDowell Street, it looks sort of like a ghost town.
We're actually visiting one of the schools. A little boy was sitting at a table. He wanted to give me a hug, so he jumped up out of his chair, came over and gave me a big hug, big grin, sat back down, and a little girl sitting next to him said, "Well, is that your daddy?" And he said, "No, my daddy's in jail." And people have to understand that little boy's coming to school with that every day.
Many students live with a single parent. Even many more live with a grandparent. So they come from the households where they don't have much of a stability. So school has to provide that stability.
A lot of times people try to put down where we're from, but there's really a lot of talented people down here. You just gotta come look and find them. And I just don't think a lot of kids have the opportunity to show what they can do.
Affecting student achievement really starts and ends with the teacher in front of the classroom. It's critical. We have really struggled to recruit and to retain highly effective teachers.
We've had a large number of subs for many years, long-term subs, people rotating in and out of positions, going to one school, going to another school, and it hurts the kids.
The pay is pretty respectable. They're all on board until they ask where they can find a house or where they're going to live.
I mean, if you Google it, apartments to rent in McDowell County, that doesn't exist. There are no search results.
We're going to be finishing up on our walls projects.
Mr. Gotch, he's a really nice guy. He come down here 3-4 years ago from Pennsylvania, and we couldn't understand a word he said because he had that accent. But he was talking about how he went home, and they can understand him now because he talks like this.
Because the way people look down on us, that's the way we feel about ourselves now. Like, I want to change that, but it takes more than one person. You can't do it by yourself.
The teachers, the community, we've all got to work together to change this perception and make people want to come here.
Today is the launch of a new day and a new beginning for McDowell County. We're not only going to join forces to enhance the well-being of McDowell County children, but by virtue of this effort, empower them with the ability to build a bright future for themselves.
I am so proud and so humbled by the magnitude of support and response that we have seen. And what we believe is that we develop and implement a model which will not only serve McDowell County, but can be replicated across West Virginia and replicated across rural America.
The measure of America is not doing what comes easily. It's what we do when times are tough. It's what we do for those who need the most. Neither geography nor demography should determine destiny.
I love the area. I love the fact that it's almost like it's just one big family. That's what I wanted to say about McDowell within the next 4 years. The kids in McDowell are the best kids in West Virginia. And we have students that try the hardest out of anybody that they've ever seen.
We do have people in this county that are determined to make McDowell County shine. What we need now is to get the next generation with that passion to stay here and make it work.
I want to go to college, probably try to get either, I've been looking at biology, chemistry, or biochemistry. And I want to go to medical school and become a doctor of radiology.
There's a need for doctors, especially for the rural area. I worry about him having to go away, but I want him close enough that he can drive home for Christmas.
I would really like to come back. I really would. And I really think if we can just get people back here and help build it up, it'd be a really good place. I really would like to be back here because that's where my family and everybody's from.
Well, that says it better than I can. You should know that since we kicked this initiative off, our partner list has grown to 110. And we have everything from Fortune 500 companies like Cisco to little mom and pop nonprofit organizations working in McDowell County. And there's a lot of work to do. We don't just have these partners. They haven't just joined up so they can get their name in the press releases. It is a working group. We have formed 7 subcommittees who meet typically via phone once each month to work on initiatives relative to this program. We have a committee on early childhood education. We have another committee on K-12 education. We have another committee on college and career pathways, one on jobs and the economy, one on health, emotional, and wraparound services, one on infrastructure, and one on technology. And they meet and, in fact, are doing a lot of very, very good work in McDowell County. This initiative has caught the attention of the national media as well as the media here in the state. We've had news crews with us doing our work there from the New York Times and the Washington Post and NBC's Rock Center and Public Radio and Public TV and all three networks and Education Week and several more. Actually, I even had a film crew from Al Jazeera with me there for a while, for several, 3 or 4 days, and that's all good. You know, I guess that gives you a nice warm and fuzzy feeling, but the media work doesn't get the job done. There really is a lot of work to be done down in the trenches in McDowell County. One of the most exciting things we're doing, and thanks to this legislature last year, you passed 2 pieces of legislation to help us with our work in McDowell County. Senate Bill 371 that you passed and the governor signed created what we call is a county-wide collaborative innovation zone, and it was geared specifically toward McDowell County. And it will allow us to do things in the educational system to think outside the box, get waivers on rules, policies, and/or statutes that we believe might stand in the way of taking a different approach to reaching the children in McDowell County. I've been working very closely with the superintendent, the new superintendent there, Nelson Spencer, and we will be presenting to the State Board of Education and ultimately to LOCIA our plan for McDowell County, which will be a plan to create a system of community schools. And that will be schools where the children come obviously for an education, but we will have a health clinic, a dental clinic, and hopefully social workers and social services available at the school in McDowell County. We believe that the community there deserves a second chance, and the children there deserve a second chance. I was in the town of War 2 weeks ago, and I ran into a family, and they were living in a 10 by 10 storage building that you put in your yard to store lawnmowers and yard equipment in. They had an extension cord running from a neighbor's home so they could have a light. They were heating the 10 by 10 building with a kerosene heater, and they were sleeping on the floor in a blow-up mattress, on a blow-up mattress, and their bathroom was a drywall bucket. A mother, a father, a young child, and a second grader. Now that second grader cannot compete with second graders coming from an affluent community here in Kanawha County. We have to find a way to deal with the issues that child comes to school with. Poverty, hunger. We have to find a way to do that. As the video pointed out, 72% of the students in McDowell County live in a home without a working adult. 46% of the students in McDowell County live in a home with neither biological parent. That is a staggering statistics. Grandparents are raising these children. We have the highest teenage pregnancy rate in the state. McDowell leads the state of West Virginia in teenage pregnancy, and West Virginia leads the nation. We have one of the highest truancy and dropout rates in West Virginia in McDowell County. I said earlier that not uncommon for the only hot meal that many of these students get or what they get at school. We actually now have an after-school feeding program, so we're feeding the children before they go home. Here's one of the most staggering statistics. In a county with 22,000 residents, they are averaging 12 deaths per month from prescription narcotic overdose. Incredible, incredible. And as they point out there, probably higher than that, because if someone is high and they die in an automobile accident, they list the cause of death as that, or if they take too much speed and have a heart attack, they probably list that as the cause of death. But we're committed to try to make a difference in the lives of those children in McDowell County. I guess if you look at all of the staggering statistics and challenges, statisticians would probably arrive at some not too promising probabilities. That's how they arrive at probabilities. They look at all the statistics. But I like to say that we refuse to be constrained by probabilities, but we're going to be driven by possibilities for those children in McDowell County, West Virginia. Thank you very much, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has one.